Okay.
Oh no, I'm fine. You're good, man.
All right, welcome back to episode 15 of Fight Vibes podcast. We are glad to be back. New year, new us. 2026 is going to be a good year for UFC. It's going to be a good year for us. Hopefully, it's a good year for y'all. And we are excited to start it off, especially with Gaethje versus Patty. But we'll talk about that in a couple weeks, especially when it gets closer to that pay per view. Or I guess we can't even call it a pay per view anymore, right, Devin?
Yeah, man. Just a numbered card, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's the right way to call it now. It's just numbered cards, which is kind of weird, but or PLEs. I guess that's what WWE calls them now. But those are still pay per views, I think, for the most part. But anyways, glad to be back for a new episode, and we are gonna get right into it. We definitely had a lot of champions change this past year. Some of them were able to kind of regain their title. Some of them definitely lost it and weren't able to get it back. But who are some people that you think, especially champions, obviously, that you think are going to be able to hold on to their belt this year? Because I definitely think some of them have tough competition coming up and could definitely get a run for their money in terms of their title run kind of coming to an end. But yeah, who do you got
Um,
holding on to their belt?
I think I think Islam keeps the title. I think Chimaev keeps his title. Um, I could see Tom keeping it just because of the potential that because he's getting double eye surgery from what I saw, so he could be out a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Volkanovski, I think Volkanovski hangs on to it for another year. I mean, I don't see him losing to Lopez, and then his next fight will probably be Lerone Murphy. So if he can get through those two fights, I think he keeps it for this year. I think everyone else though gets pretty interesting. We could see a couple titles change hands. I don't know what's going on with Ilya. I would say Ilya could keep it, but I don't know, man. I'm saying he could vacate. I don't know what's going on with his whole situation.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of going through it with that whole divorce and whatnot. But yeah, I definitely agree with you on some of those. I think the only one I really kind of don't agree on is Volk, but I am very aware that I could be very wrong about that, and um, that I think that this could age very poorly for myself. But I definitely agree with Islam. I think Islam's gonna kind of be able to not run through welterweight again, but I definitely think that he's gonna be able to at least not have to go through too many problems or obstacles that are not, not he's not able to get over. I feel like he's in a way fought tougher competition. I think the thing is that's going to be interesting for him is his size, especially guys like
Yeah,
Morales. Before we started, I told you that I was watching Morales and Brady again, and the size of that dude, man, it's just it's insane that he's a welterweight. Like I can't imagine him not going up to middleweight at some point. Because he for sure cuts a lot of weight. There's no way he doesn't.
yeah. And I mean welterweight right now is full of some killers. So
Mm-hmm.
it he I mean he has a lot of competition at that weight, but I just think Islam's skill set is what sets him apart. That sambo style, and I mean his stand up isn't that bad either anymore. He's gotten a lot better at it. So I think his skill set is hard for anyone to beat. And then if he takes you down, I mean you saw what he did to JDM after JDM was able to stuff Bilal's takedowns. So I don't know. I think he keeps that title as long as he wants it. Which I mean, I don't know how long he wants to stay around.
Yeah, that's what's kind of interesting about him is just that like you could see him sticking around for a little bit longer than I think he's saying. Um, but I don't know. I mean, that whole camp is kind of confusing. I guess since Habib retired, because I think Habib's dad dying and stuff like that was just such a drastic part in that team kind of being where it is today, and in terms of just like mindset of when are we retiring. I don't know if it was maybe just like a life too short sort of moment for them all, and all of them kind of wanting to spend more time with their families and just do as much as they can while they're in there. But I guess the other thing too is that the activity of Islam has kind of slowed down, and I wonder if welterweight Islam is going to be able to kind of ramp back up the activity. And I know Ramadan's always a factor for for Muslim, fighters and stuff, but he could still get busy in the second half of the year. I mean, 2 fights within those 8 months. I mean, I don't see how that's not possible.
Yeah, I think he'll stay a little bit busier. I don't know how busy, but I think he'll get 2 fights in this year, probably. I would
Yeah,
assume so. That's usually where Islam is about 2 fights a year
yeah,
ish.
yeah. I kind of I understand that weight cut was brutal, and I mean, you could definitely see it in those last couple ones where you were just like, yeah, that dude's for sure going up to welterweight at some point. There's no reason why he wouldn't or shouldn't. But yeah, he's definitely got some interesting contenders. And again, I think that size, like, because I mean, Carlos Pradas is a taller guy, a lot longer. Kind of like a just a bigger Oliveira in a sort of way. Obviously without the grappling and stuff, but and then you have Morales, who's just a monster in himself. Um, I mean, shit, dude. Even Shavkat, like you have him coming back hopefully sometime this year. Like that's a big
I
dude.
know.
Like that's tough. Ian Gary. I mean, these are tall, big guys, man. And for Islam, he's gonna really have to depend on the wrestling, I think, for a lot of those matchups, just so he doesn't get caught, from being so far out.
Shavkat is the guy this year that I'm really looking forward to coming back from that injury. I mean, he's someone that I thought he could have been champ at that division. Um, and I still see him being champ one day. I don't know how he'll fare against Islam's wrestling, but I would love to see that.
Yeah, because I mean, especially with the surgeries and the rehabs, and then I think recently he had that injury, and then they were just all like, "We're not even going to do surgery. Like, we're just going to train through it and work around it and stuff like that." And I guess either way, you're on like a double edged sword to where it's like, okay, you go through the injury and surgery, and you gotta go through rehab, and you have that chance of rehurting it again, and then having to go through that process all over again, or you kind of just say we can work around it. It's not too bad. Let's let's keep going, and hopefully it doesn't get any worse, and then hopefully it doesn't get any worse, but it's very possible
Yeah,
that his career gets cut short. I mean, even the injuries right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he retires sooner than a lot of us expected.
I would hate to see that
Yeah.
just because of, I mean, he's a fucking monster, and he was the boogeyman of that division. No one wanted to fight him, and just some of the stuff he was able to do, like that standing choke that he did against Jeff Neal. I mean, he was a scary fighter, man.
Hmm.
I hope he comes back full health because I want to see him fight, and I would love to see him versus Islam one day. I think that matchup would be fun.
Yeah, because I mean, that was a matchup that was talked about even before Islam became champ at lightweight.
Yeah,
It was just like, damn, like how would that matchup go? And I don't think we're gonna get as clear of an answer as like we would have pre-injury Shavkat, but I do think that we're gonna get an answer someday. I just don't think it'll be prime for prime necessarily. But
yeah. It's other than that though. I mean, do you see anyone keeping their title?
I mean, the only people I really like noted down was Islam, Hamzat, and Valentina. Because I think real quick, I'll go through the list of people who I think are gonna, who champions that are gonna lose their belt at some point for one reason or another. Now, I'm not saying all of these are gonna be due to an opponent, as you'll see. So, like Joshua Van, for example, I have Tyra and Pantoja and Kate being pretty big problems for him. I think
Yeah,
Tyra and Pantoja, just the grappling and pressure alone. And again, Tyra's stand up is still so underlooked, man. I mean, the way he was able to strike against Moreno, and I understand Moreno always has to worry about that takedown threat, especially facing someone like him. But at the same time, you have Tyra who was able to hit Moreno with some good shots. I mean, they weren't crazy shots, but they were good shots. But and again, I think Cape also with the experience that he's had over in Ryzen, facing the level people that he's faced over here in the UFC already, I think it'll be just kind of not an outclass, but I think we'll definitely see like a level change in that, like or like there's levels to this sort of thing. Do you agree with any of
Yeah,
that?
yeah. No, I think flyweight. I think Cop and Tyra. I think one of them will be champion over Van this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Van sticking around as the champion too
Yeah,
long. I mean, both guys, Tyra and Cop, have the skill set. They're It's a different kind of skill set too. Like Cop has that power and speed, and then Tyra, I mean, it is insane. And I think both of them present a problem for Van in different ways. And I would love to see Pantoja come back and get it, but depending on how brutal that injury was and what his rehab looks like, and at his age too, it's a tough injury to come back from. So I'm not saying I'm counting Pantoja out, but
mm-hmm.
maybe this year, maybe next year he'll get it back. But this year, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I know that they were already working out like with his arm and stuff like that. We were doing that watch party for that, and they were saying on the broadcast that it was a shoulder injury or whatever, blah blah blah. Even in the post flight press conference, they were saying that. Like Dana was like, "Yeah, they said it was a shoulder injury," and you could tell even him, he was kind of like, "That wasn't a shoulder injury," but and everyone who saw it knew that was not a shoulder injury whatsoever.
Yeah,
It was pretty clearly a dislocation of his elbow. And thankfully, they were saying that stuff like that doesn't take too long to recover from because it's just like a joint popping out. It'll take time to rehab, obviously, but I think we'll definitely see him back probably at the beginning of the second half of the year, I would say, like in the summer maybe. Because I mean, they said he was already working out and trying to strengthen it back up again.
that's crazy. That's such a fast turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, like I don't blame him for trying to turn around that quick. I mean, because it's like, well, it wasn't anything that crazy, honestly. Like it happens, but we saw Joe Pfeiffer come back from that pretty easily, um, and I don't even think it took him that long to come back either.
Yeah, that's true too. I guess an injury like that just it looks like the optics of it is
Yeah,
worse than probably what it is.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely think that was kind of a bigger factor of everyone going ooh, rather than it kind of being as bad as it really was because I had the same reaction seeing a Weidman break his leg. Like,
Yeah, dude.
and that was a complete that was a career changing injury, obviously. Um, but yeah, I think the little not a little, but the elbow dislocation isn't going to be too bad on Pantoja, and um, I think even for the grappling, it's not going to hurt his game too much. Thankfully, it just I guess it depends on how he's going to come out after that. But I don't know. I think he's going to be fine. I could definitely see him, especially if they give him a rematch after, let's say even Van beats like Cop or Tyre or whatever. Like I could see them, giving Pantoja an immediate rematch for his belt.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think Pantoja's he'll get another shot at his belt, but who holds that belt? I don't know. It's going to be Cop or Tyra in my opinion. One of
Hmm.
those two. I don't see Van is a good story, and he's young, and I don't think he'll keep it right now. He may have a chance to come back and get it, but
I definitely
I don't
think he
know. I thought
will
he
at
was
some point
going
again. Like, I think he'll
to.
regain it if he does lose it this year because he's talented as hell
Yeah,
for as young as he is. But the next one I had losing their belt was Peter Yan. Now, I did say Umar
yeah,
Marab, and that's it. I don't think that anyone else really beats Yan. I think Umar just does with the all around skill set, and I think Marab. I think Imarabe in a way will find a better game plan somehow, and in a weird way he will. And I think at the same time, I think the activity just got caught up to him. I think he was just fighting way too much this past year, and I don't think he's going to do that again. I think his pace is going to slow down a little bit in terms of like fighting. But I think we'll still see the same Marab out there when he fights. But I think we'll see probably. I think we'll only see him like 3 times this year. I think he's gonna really try to like cut back on the amount of weight cuts he's doing.
Yeah, I I can I think his activity is what got him. I mean, he was just so active and just not only just active, but he was partying and then weight cutting and fighting
Yeah,
4 times
dude.
a year.
Yeah,
He was just living the life and fighting. So I think it just took it out of him. I think he'll get it back. Um, and I think Umar is also on a short list to get up there with Jan. And hell, I think winner of Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong could have a chance because if O'Malley comes out and wins, I think they'll try and run an O'Malley and Jan rematch
oh for
just
sure.
because um, they want to. Of course, everyone's already you know you have that robbery against Jan. They say that O'Malley had, but just name value alone, having O'Malley fight for a title again, that'll bring a lot of attention.
Yeah, hundred
But
percent.
I think Marab gets a rematch, and I saw a lot of people saying that Marab doesn't deserve to get an immediate rematch or whatever, and
What?
I think that's fucking crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
that's a bold take. Like, I mean, because you have a guy who he defended his title what 3 times within a year, even within this past year, because he had let's see, who did he win it off of? O'Malley.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So he beat Umar, beat O'Malley again, beat Corey, and then what? Lost to Jan. And you're gonna tell me that Marab doesn't deserve that for trying to compete, let alone 5 times in a year, in a calendar year, like as a champion, like that deserves props alone. Now I'm not saying that deserves an immediate rematch, but I do think that with his style, his personality and stuff like that, I mean, it's not like he's not a draw at this point. You know, I definitely think that he's someone to always kind of keep a watch on because he's Marab. He's diving into
Yeah.
frozen lakes and busting his head open.
Yeah, he's a fucking the machine, dude. I mean, just the crazy lifestyle he was living, partying with fans and doing all that, and
Yeah.
then to be able to come do 25 takedowns in 5 rounds and still have all this energy and do it 4 times a year. It's so insane what he was doing.
Yeah, and for him not to get an immediate rematch is stupid, and especially with him having a win over Peter. Like, it's kind of like how do you say you don't give him one?
Yeah, I don't know why there was a lot of people I had saw videos of other fighters and it's saying that they didn't think he deserved an immediate rematch and this and that, or they don't want to see. They're tired of immediate rematches, and I'm just like, dude, if anyone deserves it, it's Marab, I think, because he could go down as the bantamweight goat. I mean, if he would have kept his title defenses going, a lot of people consider him the best bantamweight of all time just because of what he was doing.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So
and if he wins it back again, like, how do you say that he's not? I
yeah,
mean,
100%.
because I mean, Dominic Cruz won it back, and then he lost his very next fight to Garbrandt again, or not again, but he lost the belt again. I think it was that order.
Yeah,
Won against TJ and then
yeah,
lost it against Cody.
yeah, yeah. I think so. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I already put him. I already put him above TJ.
I think so
I mean,
too.
in terms
I
of
mean, but
accomplishments, skill wise, I mean that'd be really interesting to see. like a prime versus prime fight on that. But because TJ could for sure catch Marab some shit, I'm sure. Like that guy was fucking so slick, man.
Yeah, dude. TJ, I just think TJ ruined a lot of his legacy with the PEDs, and
Yeah,
it just wasn't a good look for his career, especially because even his own teammates had come out and said that he was talking about juicing the whole time and trying to show them how to get around it. So
yeah, like
it didn't look good for his career.
yeah, it's like come on, dude. Um, well, speaking of goats, I do think that Volkanovski is going to lose his belt this year, and I think it will be to either Evloev if he ever fucking fights because he's not injured, or it would be to Murphy. Now, the only reason why I say that is because I do think that Volk's uh, Volk's number of fights has decreased recently, and I think that's because of his wear and tear. And I think even if he fights twice this year, I think he's going to really start considering retirement just because of the toll that some of those training camps are taking on.
Yeah, I
And,
could see that.
and especially with him, I mean, we saw the whole thing where I guess it was after the Makachev fight, where he kind of went into that little depression. It just kind of like was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore or whatever. Um, and him not fighting. I think that's gonna encourage him to keep fighting, and not in a good way. I think it's gonna be like a Tony Ferguson kind of deal in terms of just like holding on a little too late. I don't think he's gonna get fucking obviously on a 7 or 11 streak or whatever it fucking was losing streak, but I do think that Volk's speed and durability could start wearing out like this year, and I mean Murphy hits underratedly hard. The problem with Murphy is I don't think he's aggressive enough, and that's my only concern. Matchup against him is I think Volk could actually pick his shots pretty well, and I don't even know how a fight with Evloev goes. This is gonna be just kind of a weird fight in general.
Yeah, I think Volk keeps the title this year, and I think next year is when the fall off happens. I
I
think.
could
I
see
don't
that.
think because he's gonna fight Lopez, and then he probably won't fight again until later on this year. And depending on who it could be between Murphy and Evloev, I think he could. I think he'll win one more. I mean, I don't see him losing to Lopez. So then, if he
Mm-mm.
does take another fight this year, it'll be what, late summer, probably August time frame.
Yeah.
And depending on timelines, who's willing to wait for him?
Well, and I guess like the thing is too is that we've already seen how the UFC kind of treats Evloev and Murphy in general, and so if Silva gets a solid win over Arnold Allen, I mean they could easily just be like, fuck it, we're gonna give Silva the title shot next, and I think that's a tough fight for Volk. I think just because of the speed and I mean, as much as Silva gets like overzealous in his fights, he's a super smart fighter when he's actually like on and picks his shots really well. And that could be a tough fight for Volkanovski. But I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the UFC even does with Paramount now and how they'll kind of treat the rankings. If it's more of the same of going towards like, okay, who has the bigger draw, or if it's really going to go back towards like, okay, who's the true number one contender, and we'll set those fights up. But I don't know, man. I mean, we've seen the UFC doesn't do some stupid shit recently, anyways.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I don't know what they're gonna do. To be honest with you, it'll be interesting to see how they navigate this new deal,
Hmm.
um, and how often they're gonna try and keep fighters going, especially with cards having less fights on it. I don't know. I just hope they keep fighters super active, especially the champs, because I hate when we only see one champion or the champion only fight once a year or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, and you have other guys kind of picking up the pace. Um,
And
So
then
so
we already
Taporia.
talked about Ilya a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so
He-
all I was gonna say to kind of add on to that was just I think he vacates at some point. Like I think that I think this interim belt is gonna eventually be upgraded to like an undisputed. Um, and I think either Patty or Armon, finishes the year as champion. Uh, I I could see Holloway maybe, but I think that Holloway's gonna have to have some shit work out just right for him to become a champion in lightweight. Like if I'm saying like if Gaethje beats Patty, the UFC says fuck Armand completely, and then they say Holloway Gaethje rematch for the undisputed belt with the BMF on the line or some shit. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's gonna have to be something like that in order for Holloway, I think, to get a shot. But I put him on there only because if Ilya does not vacate and ends up beating Patty or Gaethje or whoever wins the interim belt, and Oliveira goes out bad due to Holloway, I could see them being like, yeah, let's give Holloway and Taporia a rematch. And it was like, okay, I will say, I don't know how hot of a take this is, but I didn't think Holloway was doing that bad in the Taporia fight. I think that in a weird way, he kind of just got caught and he got hit with a solid shot, obviously, but like he wasn't doing that bad in that fight. Like I don't think he was getting pieced up as bad as some people kind of make it out to be.
Yeah, no, he was. I thought he was looking good. I thought he was doing well. I think he's had some of the closest fights with Taporia. It
Mm-hmm.
just Taporia's hand is his right hand is
Yeah,
just fucking nasty.
fucking nuke,
And
man.
yeah, it's. I think that's the thing is fighters just got to figure out a way to avoid that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they'll do well if they do. But that's the problem. You get touched with that thing, and he's got
Well,
God strength.
well, that and then you can't even grapple with his ass. I mean, because he's gonna start tossing you around down there, and you're like, all right, well, I'm just completely fucked.
Yeah. So I don't. Lightweight, I think, is in the air of what happens there. I think that's the biggest question mark for the division. Whether
Yeah.
Taporia vacates, if they turn Gaethje, Patty into the actual title, if it's just an interim, and then whoever else gets the next shot. I don't know. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be weird for a little bit at lightweight. I do think that Ilya vacates the title, and um, I, I I don't know. I don't see Ilya sticking around very much longer if he does vacate.
Mm,
I think this whole situation, his personal life, is getting out of hand for sure.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hope it doesn't hinder him too much. To where like what you're saying, it cuts his career short. But I'm with you. I could very well see that, especially with the family man he sounds to be. Like wanting to kind of be with his kids, especially if they're having to go through something like that too. Um,
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, again, I hope Taporia kind of figures everything out with all that and continues to fight because he's a joy to watch, dude. Like I appreciate the hell out of his fights. They're so good, from start to finish. Um, but
yeah, I agree. I think his fights are super fun to watch, and just some of the shit he does, like that nuclear hand. Wait, how he knocked out Oliveira was insane.
oh
So I would hate to see him go anywhere.
yeah, yeah, honestly, and again, like I still want to see the Taporia and Islam fight. Like I still hope that happens someday. I hope if that's his last fight and that's it. Like I feel like that's a way the hell or a hell of a way to end your career, especially
Yeah,
with someone
I
against
agree.
like that. But I'll move on from lightweight real quick. So light heavyweight though, I think Alex Pereira moves up to heavyweight and vacates. I don't think he loses to anybody necessarily. I think Olberg or I think Olberg, Ankalaev, or Yuri takes that spot after he's gone. I could definitely see it being Yuri, but Olberg can be, I think, a tricky fight for Yuri if that's the case. Same thing
I
for
could see that.
Ankalaev.
I could see that. I think he does move up, and I don't know. I think Olberg or Yuri will become champion at that weight class and probably hold it for a little bit.
Hmm.
It's between those two, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I only throw in Ankalaev just because of the wrestling and stuff. Because we don't really see Olber get tested too much in the wrestling, and Yuri's just kind of weird enough to where I feel like he'd get out of the wrestling if it came to that. But um, yeah, I don't know.
I just
But
don't like how quiet Uncle Ive's been since losing it.
yeah, yeah, dude, it's and you can really start to tell like which fighters are really in control of their accounts and which ones are Ali. Because Ali was gassing that dude's count up like crazy, and then
Yeah.
as soon as he lost, Ali was legit the Toy Story meme where he's like, "I don't want to play with you anymore." Dead ass, what fucking happened? Like not like he straight up said, "All right, Uncle Live, you go figure your shit out, and then I'm gonna go, back with Usman and try to get him a title shot."
Yeah. I would like I would like to see Uncle Ive more active. I don't know what I don't know why is Ali so involved in these guys' social media?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I think it's part of the fact that the UFC has gone so much towards you know them wanting their fighters to build up their own personalities, and I think that Ali as a manager just realizes that a lot of these guys can't, and they don't, especially the foreign guys, who maybe aren't able to get as much press or as much eyes as like they could, especially if like they were in their own country. And I think he's just maybe trying to boost that. And I can respect that. I understand that. But at the same time, it's kind of like there's other ways around that to where you could get your fighters in front of the camera. Like you're a manager, like that's
Yeah,
kind of part of your job. So I don't know. I think it's
you
more of
can
just him trying to,
clearly tell though.
yeah, yeah. That's the problem is that there's not really like a clear difference between a fighter and Ali.
Like you could clearly tell when it's Ali talking and some of these fighters.
And I
But
hate that. It's like, dude, you want to go in there and fight? Like, just go in there and fucking fight.
yeah,
But you
I
can't.
agree. Speaking about Alex Pereira, did you see who he's dating?
Dude, yeah, what the hell? What the hell was that all
That
about?
kid is
I was
two
scrolling.
things.
Oh, I was scrolling. I was like, oh, that doesn't look AI.
No, and two things that came out of nowhere, and also I think is there a language gap there?
So okay, so I saw a lot of people asking the same thing, and I think I came to the conclusion that I mean she speaks enough like Spanish, obviously, that I think like from what I understand, Portuguese and Spanish isn't too far off to where like they could get by. But like that's the thing, like they could get by. Like I don't know how long like that relationship would really last. Probably because of the language barrier, but who knows? I mean, maybe he's able to work on his English good enough now. Okay, I will say there is that one clip of DC talking to him. I think it was DC. He was talking to Alex in the locker room, and Alex was talking really good English. He was saying he was all like, when you talk fast, like I don't really understand, but when you talk slow, like I can understand it and break it down. And I that's maybe the case where his English has gotten so good he can start bagging Tracy Cortez, dude. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah,
What a guy.
yeah, no shit, dude.
Did you see
Tracy.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, dude, she's just been upgrading every year.
Dude, yeah, no shit, honestly. So super fan on Twitter. He's like a big MMA guy on Twitter, and he goes, "Oh, look at me! I'm Alex Pereira. I'm a UFC two weight champion. I'm 6'5". I'm starring in a movie. I'm cracking Tracy Cortez. Fuck you, man."
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Like, amen to
yeah.
that. Amen to that. Oh my god, that's funny. But nah,
Um,
yeah, I think he moves up. I think he ends up finding whoever's that champion. Now for heavyweight, I'll say this real quick. I do think that Tom vacates because of the surgeries. I think that they're going to tell him that he's going to have so much time out that he's just going to vacate, and I honestly think they're going to end up doing Gone versus Acosta
yeah, I could see that.
because I don't think they're going to give Volkov his title shot. I think they're going to screw him out of it again, And yeah, I mean, especially if Acosta wins, I feel like the way he should win against Derek Lewis on this upcoming card, I believe. And then I could definitely see them booking Gon and Acosta in the summer, probably for the White House card.
I could see that for sure.
That'd be kind of a good fight. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be looking forward to that. Gon versus Acosta.
Yeah, I think that would be a fun fight. Um, Acosta's kind of grown on me. I didn't like him when he first was uh, in the UFC. Just his style. I didn't think he would stick around, but he's kind of changed style up and kind of grown on me, and his confidence has grown. He's been knocking dudes out. I
Yeah,
think he's here to stay at heavyweight for a little bit.
I hope so. I mean, we kind of need new face. You know, I'm glad that like Walker's brother is kind of getting up there now too. I think he'll start getting some high level opponents this year, and snatching their fucking heels. That guy's insane. Um, I mean, other than that, you know, I guess maybe Petrino. I could see him maybe making a wave up in heavyweight just because of just how he's built. You know, not making that weight cut anymore, light heavyweight.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think he'll be a good heavyweight too. Um, and then I guess the last weight class. Did we touch on Chimaev?
yeah, I think Chimaev holds his belt. I think he fights one time this year. You know, I don't think it's
Yeah,
gonna be anything different. I think he fights probably Imavov, and I think he just either does what he did to DDP, or he does what he did to G3, or he does what he did with damn near everybody else. Like, I don't think it's gonna be that much different.
yep,
But I will say, I think Mackenzie Dern. I think she loses her belt back to Wei Lee. I don't think she holds on to her belt till the end of the year. I think Wei Lee goes back down and says, "Give me back my belt, bitch," and takes it.
yeah. I could see that. I don't. I
Other
don't
than,
see really anyone. Let's see. In the women's, Shevchenko might hang on to it. I don't know how long she wants to stick around though.
yeah,
That's the only thing is I think her career is also coming to an end shortly. Uh, but other than that, oh, Kayla Harrison. But I
well,
think,
I think she
I think
retires or slash
yes,
vacates or whatever after the Nunes
yeah,
fight. I think that'll be their both last fights. I don't see Harrison fighting anymore unless she wants to fight absolutely on that White House card. And even I think that'll be against Dumont. Um, I don't think Dumont wins that.
yeah. I I agree. I think Shevchenko, if she wants the title or if she wants to stay, she'll stay champion.
Hmm.
But like you said, Harrison, Pena, whoever wins, I mean, I think they're both done. And then Aaron loses. So I think the women's weight classes are going to have a big shift, especially if Harrison and Shevchenko decide to bounce this year or next year.
Hmm.
It'll be interesting because and Shevchenko's kind of been running things in that division, so it'll open up
Well,
a
and
lot. I think Lee will take it.
I guess the interesting thing too with her is that we saw her kind of get bored, and we saw her have that really close fight against Santos, and then we saw her lose against Grasso, have a draw against Grasso, and then won pretty dominantly in that third fight. I honestly think she won the second fight in general, anyways. But um, yeah, I mean, I just don't see anyone else like challenging her because again, it's pretty much nothing but rematches. I mean, I don't think I think Silva may give her the biggest problem, to Silva, but I think if that goes to the ground, like I see Valentina wrapping that up. I just don't see any challenges for her really.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I think we're gonna see a lot of changes here. I
Yeah,
think
I think
definitely, in a weird way, I think we're gonna see a lot of vacates. I don't know why. I have a weird feeling we're just gonna see a lot of vacates.
I think so too. But I think part of that will be good. Not necessarily the vacates, but like the new champions
Hmm.
and have a new deal and kind of bring the UFC some fresh faces, some fresh champions, and try and keep things exciting because I mean, I love Valentina Shevchenko. I love some of these guys that have been champion for a while, but it's time to get some fresh faces in there for sure. I love Volkanovski, but you've been there for a while, brother.
Yeah,
Let someone
dude.
else take over.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think that like I think his age will start showing this year, unfortunately, and I don't think he'll retire, but um, I do want to talk about some fighters I do think are going to retire this year,
Okay,
and
go ahead.
it's a long list, kind of, but I mean it's kind of names. I feel like if I'm going to say them, you're going to be like, yeah, I could see that. So first off, I'm going to start off with my boy Whitaker. I think Robert, retires this year. I think he gets one more fight in. I think they probably feed him a pretty hungry contender. I think he could beat a couple of those young guys down there. I just also think though that his heart's maybe not in it as much as it used to be since the DDP loss, or maybe even since the Adesanya loss, the first one.
Yeah, I can see that.
Gilbert Burns, I can see him retiring this year.
Yeah, he just kind of. I forget he's active just because of.
Yeah.
I thought for some reason I thought he was retired.
No, well, I mean, not really, because you had like him fight all those contenders that were coming up, like Morales. He fought, he fought Brady. He's just kind of like that veteran stepping stone in a way right now.
Yeah, he's
So
just he's been super inactive lately. Dude,
yeah,
I forget.
Jared Cannonier, I can see him retiring this year.
Yep.
Justin Gaethje, I think retires this year.
Yeah, I think especially if he loses, I
Yeah,
think that's kind of the end.
Michael Chandler, I think he retires this year.
I think that's due.
Emmett,
Yeah, I can see that.
I think he's kind of the same position Burns is in. We're just feeding him hungry contenders to kind of build a name.
Yeah.
Rob Font, he was the contender beater for a bit and then finally lost the one. So I think it's kind of a sign that his time's coming to an end.
Yeah. He could stay gatekeeper for a little bit, but I can see that.
I think Pereira, retires this year. I think he probably gets that one more super fight and then he's done.
I think so too. I think he'll have a big retirement fight.
I think Colby Covington actually announces his retirement this year, rather than just kind of sitting and playing poker.
Yeah, he's been done in my eyes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, Blahovic, I think retires. In a weird way, I have a feeling that he gets another injury, and then it says like I have to call it. I hope that's not the case, but I have a weird feeling he's just gonna get injured again, and his body's just gonna kind of be like it's time, dude.
Yeah, I'd like to see him retire too.
Figgy,
Okay, yep.
especially if he loses the Umar, I think.
I think he's still there, but yeah, I can see that.
Usman, I think Usman is done after this year. I just wonder how the whole title picture goes because if you give him a title shot and he loses, obviously he's done. Like there's no reason for him to keep fighting after that. But if you're like, hey Usman, fight one more, contender fight this year, and that's his only fight this year, I'm gonna be kind of pissed because they just took another year away from us from Usman. But like,
I could I could see them setting him up with a fight, and if he wins against a contender, I could see them pushing him at one last fight at
ooh,
Islam.
yeah, at MSG or some shit.
I could see that. Um,
They
but
probably do it
yeah,
over in Abu Dhabi or some shit though.
yeah,
Um, Oliveira.
I could see that, but I feel like Oliveira, especially if Ilya vacates,
Yeah.
I think Oliveira still has some juice to be a champion.
My only concern is the Holloway fight because I mean Holloway hasn't really taken a step back. We've started to kind of see, way, like Oliveira's durability start to kind of diminish a little bit. Um, but I definitely could see him retiring this year, especially if that Holloway fight does not go the way that he thinks it could.
Yeah,
And if it's just a beatdown. Because I mean Holloway can put that pressure on him. I just want that fight's really interesting to me because I just wonder who's going to put the pressure on who.
I think that's going to be such a fun fight, though.
Yeah, dude, I'm so
Both of
excited for
them.
that one.
I could see Max being toward the end of his career, but I think he might have one more year.
Yeah, I think I'm giving him 2 years more at the most, and like I think that's him barely fighting too. Like I think he'll do the Oliveira fight. I think he'll probably do one more this year. I think he does like probably one next year, and then he's done.
Yeah, I could see that. I
Benil Dariush, I think he's done, especially after the BSD loss.
think so. That's
Just the
due.
chin is just gone. Kayla Harrison, we kind of talked about that one already. I think Wonder Boy retires this year for his
I
health.
forgot he didn't. I
Yeah,
forgot he didn't retire yet.
yeah. I almost kind of wish he did. I'm curious to see who they're going to match him up against. I mean, because he looked good against Bonfim. Um, I thought he won that fight, and I may just be biased, but I thought he won that fight. And I mean, Bonfim's kind of legit, so I don't know, man. It'll just be interesting to kind of see who they match him up against. But I could definitely see him retiring this year. And then, last but not least, for sure, someone outside of the organization, Cyborg, said that she's retiring this year. So, kind of just give
Dude,
her a little shout
Cyborg is
out.
still fighting.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, she's still killing it
Oh
too.
my!
Yeah,
Oh my God!
yeah. She's still fucking killing it. I mean, not like the
I
competition's not
thought she
great.
was done also.
Mm-mm.
I get
No.
where's she? PFL one.
Yes. I think she's boxing though right now. I think that's her last fight. I think it's a boxing fight. I could be wrong.
Oh, to add to your list, um, one last guy. I think Israel Adesanya's last year is coming.
See, okay, I almost put him on the list, but I was kind of hesitant only because of the thing he said recently where he's like I want to do like big fights or whatever he said or some shit like that. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what other big fights he can really even do. Besides maybe like MVP, but I don't think that's gonna be a fun fight at all.
No,
Uh, I don't know.
I, I don't know. I don't think he has the fire like he used to. I
Yeah.
don't think he can keep up with some of the guys in his weight class. I think the styles are changing.
Well, I mean the speed, dude. Like we saw that against Nasruddin. I mean,
Yeah,
Imavov just fucking landed that straight on him clean, man. And
yeah.
for Adesanya not to react to that the way that he definitely used to, and even his punches in that fight, they they weren't as sneaky as they used to be. They were a little more telegraphed. I definitely agree that Adesanya could be done this year. I think he's going to get one more fight this year, and I think he does one more next year, and then he's done. I think
I
like
could
we're right there though for sure.
I could see that.
I guess kind of like some of these other guys, like they fight one time this year, they're like, fuck it, I'll give it one more try, and then they give it one more try next year, and they're like, yeah, I'm done. But so what are some fights you would like to see? But actually, hold on, real quick, because I think, yeah, actually, we're gonna save that because our boy Gene obviously is sick, and that was a topic that he wanted to bring up, and we will talk about that next week. Hopefully, we'll have him on next week, and he's good to
Yeah,
go. But
we yeah we'll save it for him.
because I definitely have some fights I'm definitely looking forward to. So Paramount, you've kind of explored the app so far. I've kind of done the same thing a little bit. What are your thoughts so far on Paramount's kind of, I guess, navigation in a way? Because so far I like it so much better than ESPN's, dude. I fucking
I
hated
do.
that app.
I feel like ESPN made it really hard to find the fights, and it was, I don't know, it was really weird. You had to like click on singular fights or go to the whole event and scroll to see what you wanted to see,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like they were pretty limited on what they were willing to show, and I don't know. It became a pain in the ass. I thought ESPN was, and I forgot. I didn't even know that Paramount put UFC on there yet. Like I thought we were waiting for the live events, but I had just saw it today, that they had like the fight catalog. So I just kind of started going through stuff, and I like it, man. It was real easy to find. The quality is real clear. It was fun. I watched Gaethje and Holloway earlier today, so
What'd you think?
I like it, man. I think it'll be good. I'm liking it so far. Paramount's cheap. It's nice.
Yeah.
As a veteran, they gave me a 50% discount,
Oh, that's
so
nice. Fuck yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that's nice. Um, yeah, no, I definitely enjoy this app. I mean, just the 5 minutes I was kind of scrolling through it, so much, like you were saying, just so much more accessible to certain stuff rather than scrolling through the whole goddamn main card looking for the third fight in. Like that was just so stupid to me. Like come on, ESPN. Like you got to be better than that. I still think I'm still on this conspiracy that they wanted to team up with the UFC to kind of in a way bury the UFC, so that PFL would get a bigger name and they would grow. But obviously that didn't work out, and the UFC left ESPN and said fuck y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think this will be a good deal for the UFC, and I think it'll be. I like it. I'm excited to see what the live events look like. I hope
mm-hmm.
hopefully there's no lagging and shit. And
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of curious to kind of see like how the presentation changes, if it does. I can't imagine it changing too much just because of the UFC being behind their own production, or most of it. And I guess like my thing is just that I wonder how many Apex shows they're going to do this year, because if Paramount's like, hey, look, we know y'all. I mean, I doubt they're fucking like this, but I'm just saying, if they're going to Dana or they're going to whoever it is at the UFC and going, hey, we know your fan base doesn't like these Apex shows. Stop fucking doing them. We're gonna go travel a bit more. We're gonna make y'all go to certain places y'all haven't been yet, and we're gonna get y'all going. And I think I'm hoping that's a direction that Paramount's taking, to where they want to go to Spain, they want to go over in different places in Europe that they haven't been yet, and even shit, even other places. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to see them go back to China and shit, or go back to Japan or whatever the case is. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that not Brazil. What the fuck? I hope that Paramount pushes them more out, to more places rather than just stuck at the Apex.
yeah, I'm curious to see what the broadcast live is like too. I felt like it was real limited with ESPN. Um,
Just because of the commercials, I think.
yeah, that, and then I don't know, man. It just felt like I don't know.
It just felt like there was no care behind it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and again, I think Paramount taking on the UFC is kind of, they're in a way they have something to prove, especially with all the purchases they've made lately with like South Park and shit. They gotta step up their game in some sort of way if they're throwing that much money around. And I think that they're gonna want to push the UFC to produce a better product in terms of stuff that's, I think, equivalently good for the casual fan and the hardcore fan. And who knows? I'm honestly just praying that there was some fucking head exec at Paramount who's a hardcore UFC fan and is like a real fan too, that wants to see like the best matchups and contenders and all that shit, and is somehow in Dana's ear going, "You bald bitch, you better do this shit, otherwise we're gonna regret the fuck out of this." But
I agree.
I doubt it's something like that. I'm sure they're just like, give us the fucking money.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I think it's going to be a good deal all around. I'm excited for it, and what the first fight kicks off in what 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited for it, man. This break is getting a little too long.
Yeah, I'm into that, dude. Oh, yeah, I guess thankfully there are some fights going on, or there were some fights going on. But did you see the Rise of New Year's Eve show?
No.
Okay, I didn't watch really any of it, but I did see that Kaya Sakura's brother had to get stretchered out of the arena or out of the ring.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude, it was that was pretty bad. They were, because over there they allow the stomps and shit, and like the knees to the head or ground to the opponent and stuff. And some of those guys go crazy, man. Like, for example, dude, I saw this guy get knocked down and he was looking up at his opponent, right? And his opponent legit picked up his knee straight up and went heel first looking for his fucking head.
Damn.
And thank God he missed because that would have been fucking murder on live television. Like, without a doubt. That would have been fucking murder. If I can find that clip, dude, I'm gonna send it to you because that shit was gnarly. I was like, "Holy shit!" They allow shit like that to go on. Like, no wonder why people are getting carried out on a stretcher. You know,
Yeah, dude, that's nuts.
that's too much. I think stomping like on a head, like, come on, dude. Like, you're just trying to commit murder at that point. Like, that's not a sport. You know, like I understand fighting, but like we're stomping on
Yeah,
people's head. Like, I think there still needs to be boundaries on this shit.
yeah. I was all about like all that shit, but I don't know, to a degree, I guess.
Yeah.
You can't just you can't have fucking murder going on.
No, I mean, because like I'm all for knees to a grounded opponent. You know, for examples like the stalling and stuff. You know, where they're just in a sprawl position or whatever, and they can't do anything, you can't do anything, and you can't attack them pretty much because they're protected by a rule. You know, I think stuff like that is a bit different than me knocking down my opponent and then looking to stomp his head through the canvas. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, calm down.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's not that serious. But holy shit. Yeah, I don't know, man. So sometimes I'm kind of glad we don't have rules like that, but at the same time, I'm like, violence, baby, give me it.
Yeah, I agree. I
Oh,
love the violence, dude. I love when the fights get crazy.
yeah,
But yeah, you can't. I don't know. Stomping on the head, fucking soccer kicks, all that shit.
yeah. I see. I think soccer kicks to the body and stuff like that. I think like that's fine. You know, even though that could still cause some serious fucking damage. Like, yeesh. But I'd much rather see that than someone get their head punted off, and then them not look the same ever again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I agree.
eesh, I don't know. Tough sport, man. Tough sport.
All right, man. Do you have anything else? I mean,
Nah, not
we'll
really.
cover
I
the
mean, yeah, really not a whole
fights.
lot going on right now. Well, I know next week we're gonna go over some pretty good topics, especially kind of the matchups we want to see and a few more. So, those of y'all listening, definitely tune in next week. We're gonna have some good conversations, especially with Gene. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of all out of things to say about what we were talking about today. You know, I'm excited for this new year, though. I am super excited for this new year.
Me too, man. And hopefully, Jane's feeling better.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Gene, man. Definitely feel better. Definitely
Yeah,
keep those meds pumping, man. Like
yeah.
it's
That
you got to keep doing it.
yeah. That this new flu, man. It's no fun.
Yeah, I've seen you go down with it. I've seen Gene now go down with it. I've seen a couple other friends go down with
Mhm.
it. I'm just fucking praying that I don't get it, and yeah, because that
Keep
shit
some
just
Dayquil close, dude.
going through a bottle a day.
Dude, I swear, in like 4 days, I think I downed like almost a whole bottle of that
Dude,
extreme flu,
I
dude. It was,
I don't blame you. I don't
but
blame. I was like that with a fucking cold. I was down in a whole bottle of Mucinex in a goddamn week. I was like, God bless, dude. I was like, I don't need that much shit. But fuck that cold. Put me on my ass too. But all right, man. Well,
all right, man. It was good getting back on here. It was good to be alive.
good to be alive.
We'll catch back up next week and have some more to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You stay safe. Have fun with that tree. and
Yeah.
and I'll catch you next week, man.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, later.
Later, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all. All right, we'll catch y'all next week. Later.